Welcome to my chow line. I'm Tracy Lingle. Join me as we serve up dishes that are sure to please. We will also hear stories related to food and military service. Today, in this cook, I am honoring my brother from RCPT, one of our jump masters, Mikey. Mikey's a comedian, and he's also a member of the Freedom Friends podcast. This one's for you, buddy. He's a Marine. Gotta love him. Chuck roast, burn ends. All right, so what we have here is 2 chuck roasts. I've already sliced this one up. You're doing it in 1-inch squares. Look at that marbling. That's just really going to be good. All right, so to do this, we're going to separate the muscles. The chuck roast is 2 muscles. There's a line right through here. Pull it apart. There's some like silver skin in here. I'm going to try to get the silver skin off, just because it'll make for a better chew on some of these. You don't want to get it on the actual bite, the nuggets that you're making, the burn ends you're making. So to do this, we're going to trim off some of these pieces that are flopping around. But we're going to try and cut them in 1-inch square pieces, maybe like a 2 inches long, but 1-inch square diameter. And this muscle here, I'm just going to do it in singles. And if you need to trim off, you can. You want to leave some fat on there, but if it's got a lot of fat, you can take that off. All right, now this one being narrow, we're going to cut it right here. And then it's fatter here, so we're going to slice this one in half. The main thing is you want to try to keep them all fairly consistent in size, because you don't want some to be done and others not be done when you're cooking. You want them all to get the same temperature about the same time. All right, so we got, I'll leave that one there. All right, so we're going to be using Grill Your Ass Off seasonings, Ma Deuce steak seasoning. We're going to use that on these. We're going to heavily coat these, really good. We're going to set them on these trays and we'll put them in the grill. All right, so we cut up our chuck roasts. We removed the silver skin between the 2 muscles in the chuck roast, and we cut them up into as close as we could to even pieces. We have some small pieces here. Those will be for the chef, because those will probably get done faster. We'll have to pull them off, but everything else we want to try to keep cooking evenly. Remember, we used our seasonings, Ma Deuce Grill Your Ass Off seasonings. Go check them out, grillyourassoff.com. Veteran-owned company, good seasonings as well. So we're going to let this rest a little bit. You can see it's already starting to sweat a little bit with the seasonings and salt and stuff, pulling some of that moisture out. We're going to let this set a little bit and set up. We got our charcoal getting lit to get the base of our fire going in our smoker, and we'll be back when we put them on. All right, so we got our fire going. It's good, and the temp's good. We're right around 300. It's coming back down some, so after spike of building the fire up, I've got a nice bed of coals now. We're going to get going, put this on, and this has had plenty of time to sit and rest and adhere. So we're going to put these on, get them going. If you saw I had them on those trays, it makes it easier to handle instead of trying to do them individually on the grill. Just a recommendation. Works out good that way. So we'll check on these in about an hour, 2 hours maybe, and see how much bark they've gotten on them, and then we'll see if we need to go ahead and put them in a wrap. All right, so now we've come to the part of my cooking video, and if you're seeing this video just by itself, and this is the first thing you're seeing on it, I do a cooking video, and then I include this portion of the video in it, where I do a story, usually to do with the person that I am dedicating the cook to, and this cook is dedicated to Mikey from my round canopy parachute team. He is a jump master, a Marine. He's a member of the Freedom Friends podcast. All around great guy. But I do this segment for each cook where I sit down and explain. I have a drink, and I'll smoke a cigar. Warfighter Tobacco. Great company, great cigars. Check them out. Warfighter Tobacco. They got all kinds of merch as well as good cigars. I've also Horse Soldier Bourbon. We're gonna have a little bit. Horse Soldier Bourbon's a great brew. Get a little bit. It's a little early in the day. I'm not gonna get going too heavy, but I want to share Mikey's story with y'all, and it's a story that relates to food and about military service. And here we go. Mikey, cheers. All right. Fallujah, 2004. The Marine Corps birthday. Mikey's a member of the 31st MEU, 1st Battalion, 3rd Marines, Alpha Company. He was right. He told me we needed a cake for the Marine Corps birthday. All we had were a few cases of MREs. Now, if you know anything about Marines, you'll know that we take our birthday very seriously. We needed a cake. It's tradition. And you don't mess with tradition. The first piece of cake is always given to our guest of honor. The second piece is handed to the youngest Marine present by the oldest Marine present. This signifies the passing of tradition from old to new. Then the old man gets his piece of cake. It has literally been a thing we've done since the early 1800s. And that is one thing about Marines. Tradition is key, and they are big on it. Anyway, we needed a cake. One of my guys before his time in the Marines was a pastry chef. So he wanted to make this elaborate cake for us, but couldn't. He did make some pretty decent frosting using peanut butter and cocoa powder from the MREs. We had this other kid. He was a reservist that had been activated as a combat replacement, who in his day job worked as a cartoonist. He mixed peanut butter and water and made some cream that he could draw with. We then took like 40-pound cakes from MREs and put them together on an engine panel from an AAV, which is like an armored personnel carrier. They iced it and decorated it with the eagle, globe, and anchor, and it read, "Happy 229th Birthday, Marines." It wasn't the fanciest cake or the best tasting. It's still just an MRE pound cake, which if you've ever had an MRE pound cake, you would know. But the tradition was still observed even through the worst combat any of us had seen since Vietnam, which Fallujah in 2004 was nuts. I wasn't there. I don't know. All I know is stories. But it was bad. I'll include some pictures of some pictures that Mikey sent me of him from those times, either here or here. This situation also prompted an MRE cook-off because they had opened up a ton of MREs to get all the pound cakes, which he won. He using the 4 fingers of death. aka frankfurters. You had those little Wiener sausages in a vacuum sealed pack in an MRE. Those of us who have served know exactly what he's talking about. Wiener sausages in a pack, a little longer, like fingers, about the size of your fingers, like frankfurters. So he made it. He won using his frankfurters, potato chip sticks, jalapeno cheese spread, a whole bottle of Tabasco, and some Lowry seasoning that he had acquired. We had come up with a bunch of weird parameters, like your dish needs a special name, or other things that they would do, because I mean, they got to entertain themselves somehow. And his name for his dish, forgive me, Baby Dick Surprise. All the dishes were served blind and judged by his Master Sergeant Gunny and the Chief Warrant Officer. It's funny. Well, improvise, adapt, and overcome. That's a story of right there. Marines are good at that. That's just some of the things you come up with, the elaborate schemes you do, like combining certain things in meals. Take the MREs and try and trade around and get some things, get the crackers. If you end up with the peanut butter, but you wanted the cheese spread, you trade for somebody who doesn't like the cheese spread. Or, make it spicy cheese if you don't have the jalapeno cheese, and, by mixing the Tabasco in it or whatever. But there's all kinds of things, and the crackers, ugh, the cardboard crackers. Well, Mikey, thank you for your service. I know I'm including some pictures in here of him in his service. I know he was shot while over there. He was nearly blown up over there. One of the pictures will be of them inside of a armored personnel carrier and a couple other guys with him, and they were laughing from delirium because the vehicle had been on fire and they just got it put out, and they're just exhausted, stressed, and just, you can't help but laugh. So, well, thank you, Mikey, for sharing this story with me and allowing me to share it with every one of y'all. I hope that y'all have find it funny and entertaining. If you have any stories that you would like to share with me that I can share with everyone else, please let me know. I'm on Instagram at my chowline. Man, that food's smelling good too. So I'm about to go check on the meat again as soon as I finish this cigar, and we'll get back to the cook. But please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. It helps. Just thank you all for your service. Thank you for what y'all do. But also, I hope you enjoy this, and let's get to cooking some food. All right, so these have been cooking for quite a while. You can tell they got a nice, good bark on them. They've all gotten to really good temperature. So now I rendered off some fat that I pulled off of the chuck roast. Rendered down a little bit of it to have some in here. We're also going to add some other stuff to it. But I'm going to go ahead and start placing these in here. You're not looking for an internal temperature on these as much as you're looking for the color, the bark. You want to make sure you got a good crispy bark on them. And I'm wearing insulated gloves in here. So we're going to take and add 2 blocks of this unsalted Kerrygold butter. If you had like some Wagyu beef fat, you could use that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this up into smaller pieces, make it melt a little faster. And then I'm going to add the other block in just a second. We're going to add a little bit with Worcestershire just to add a little bit of extra umami to it. A little MSG is in there. We're also going to add a little bit of maple syrup. And then we're also going to add a little bit of brown sugar. We will cover this with foil and set it back on the smoker and let it continue to braise like this for another. The flies are starting to come out. It's getting close to summertime here. We just had a little cold spell come through here in Georgia. But butter in here. Get it all the way around, because as it melts it'll mix with the stuff, and then we'll stir this occasionally as it continues to cook. But we're gonna try to stir it as gently as possible to keep these nuggets whole. Put some foil on it. My son went and picked some roses out of our rose bushes he planted, and he's pretty proud of them. And look, got some roses that bloomed. They're really nice looking. But anyway, this is going on a smoker, and it'll stay on there for another hour or two. We'll check on it and shake it up a little bit and make sure it gets a good coating, and let it continue to cook till they're good and tender. Alright, so it's been quite a bit of time. I just pulled these off a little bit ago. Let them cool down a little bit. You can still see the juices are all really good in there. Let's just see, I got them all plated up here. Let's just pull one of these off and just look at how tender, and the smoke ring, how gooey. Oh wow. You get the sweetness from the brown sugar and the butter, maple syrup, and then you get the salty, garlicky steak seasoning, the smoke. Oh wow, it's really good. And I got some Hellfire Honey habanero barbecue sauce from Grill Your Ass Off. Try a little bit of that. Oh. Come on, man. That's like candy. You definitely got to give these a try. Chuck roast works perfect. Tastes amazing, nice and juicy, and it doesn't take very long. You got maybe 2 to 3 hours of smoke before when you get your color on them, and then another maybe hour to 2 hours braising like this, and they just fall apart. But they're still held together just enough because of that crust on the outside of them. So it's a good deal. Give it a shot, man. I can't wait to try this with brisket and with pork belly. Again, thanks for checking out this video. Thanks for watching and being where this cooked. Thanks go out to Mikey. One of his favorite things is burn ends, and I did this mainly for him, but I also want to try it too. And then hey, check out some of the other videos. Check out all the things we have going on here at My Chow Line. Come check out the next video.